There was a boy from a Nordberg town who sent the locals screaming. But now the boy's become a man, he'll start his evil scheming.
The Overlord's back, and this time it's not the same Overlord you've played in the original. No, this is a whole new breed of evil. So let's see how evil he is, shall we? The story follows that of the ending at the expansion pack, Raising Hell, in which the old Overlord is trapped in the abyss and he had a son. The beginning will probably remind you of Nightmare Before Christmas, even though I think that was the purpose of it. Anyway, you are the new Overlord. You start out in the small town of Nordberg as a child. Destroy the kid's snow fortress and the big tree in the middle of the town. Soon you have to run away, cause in your absence a new power has taken over the lands, namely the glorious Empire, who has put a ban on all things magical. And also, there's no more obvious way to see that he's the son of the last Overlord than by hearing his conversation skills. Now, the story might seem a little bit straightforward, but it really isn't. By the time you get to the ending, you'll see that it's not what it seems. And just like the first game, it's probably gonna surprise you. And since it's written by the same person who did the first one, it's not that big of a surprise. Now, how they came up with fighting a Roman-esque empire is still confusing, since that's more in the past than medieval stuff. But whatever the reason, the art design did a great job of pulling that Roman feeling into the game. You also get to visit the old tower, which is now a magical wasteland. There's also a lot more diverse and wider enemies. For one thing, the elves aren't the depressed spirits anymore. They are happy, hippie elves that protect all that is fluffy and nice. There's Yetis, Roman soldiers,
They call me Miss Trixieville Buttercup Fairy,
spiders and the like. Warning, the following footage, although short, might scar you for life or blind you. There's also an emphasis on fat jokes, apparently. But the biggest change in fighting enemies is the formation ability of the Empire units. This is an excellent gameplay addition and makes the game a whole lot more challenging. The thing is that they receive quite a ridiculous defense boost, but there is also two ways to break them. One way is to kill their commander. Kill him and the rest of the troops should be a lot easier to kill, or you could use mounts to breach them and then kick some ass. Although do watch out, get stuck between them and you haven't broken them yet, and you might get your ass kicked. Speaking of mounts, another new gameplay mechanic are the mounts. There are 3 mount types. There's the wolves, for the browns to charge into enemies and jump small gaps, the spiders for the greens that can climb spider webs, and the salamanders that roll up into balls and can shoot when mounted with reds while moving. Other gameplay additions, such as using catapult to destroy legions of Empire forces, you even do that close to the start of the game when you're a child, to sailing a ship. Sadly, these gameplay mechanics aren't used too often. The catapult section is the one used the most, but I wish there were more ship battle based parts. Some more variety is found within the gameplay by being able to turn usually harmless people into your slaves, in which they will act as cannon fodder that gets sent in first to attack the enemy. Or once you've taken over a town, will start paying tribute, mine, and or forge weapons for your minions to armor up. Another nice touch was the fact that you have minion guards around the settlement, which gives you the feeling that you've really taken over the town. You can either choose to enslave or kill all the people in the place you've conquered, but that's up to you. Personally, I see more profitable future in the enslavement business. The next thing I should mention, since the old tower is pretty much blown to pieces, is the fact that your tower is one huge stalagmite, or stalactite, whatever, it's underground, where giant floaty rocks surround it. But you get all the comforts of the old home, including the fact that you can actually sit on the throne now. The private quarters can be more customized now that you can have up to 3 mistresses. You can customize it any way you want, within the game's limitations of course. Since we're at the private quarters, this is where you also upgrade your 3 to 4 powers. Yes, this game has a lot less powers, sadly. I do miss the flamethrower spell. Anyways, the game has a lot less spells, but instead of finding new spells, you'll find spell catalysts, which are used to upgrade the ones that you have now. The one that you probably find last, you get ability to absorb one of your minions for health, buff him or use him as a bomb. The game has no dungeons sadly this time around, and no bugs that give out free life force, so it's kinda harder to get hold of them. Not too hard obviously.
Fluffy rats! See? Poor fishy! Die, smelly furball!
This time, the forge isn't just used for making weapons and armor. Even though you won't have to go hunting for forges, you still do have to hunt for better weapons though. And due to the absence of a dungeon, it's a lot easier to lose a lot of life force quickly, and you can't customize your weapons as much as you did in the first game. But besides getting new weapons, you can also upgrade your minions' hives so that your minions don't start at level 1 but 2, 3 or 4. This will cost you each around 1 dark crystal and a lot of money. The place that the minions now live resembles a small town for some reason, but I kinda like that. And also another element that has been added is the fact that you can visit each hive individually.
Browns are your main melee fighters due to their attitude of hit first, jump up and down on the carcass later.
And check on your minions. Each one has a unique name and apparently nickname, which adds a lot more personality to the minion. They also have levels now, and guess what? There's a minion reaper now that can revive your favorite minions and they will give him a hug afterwards. Hey, what would you do if you were resurrected? Even though it costed like 10 other minion lives. Almost forgot, you still need to find health, mana, and horde upgrades hidden in the world if you want to have a stronger overlord. You can also possess minions this time around, which is actually quite fun and adds to some unique mission designs. One mission you will have to dress up your minions as legionnaires to take over a catapult. And they also sing a song. Speaking of, I almost forgot the gesture is now a bit more poetic than the first one, so I ain't quite sure if they're the same.
Be gone, you beast, and make it fast! For if you don't, we'll kick your
The graphics have received a tremendous upgrade over the first two, with not only the great art design. If you hopefully didn't go blind when you saw the first Fat Fairy, the design of the minions has been improved, as well as giving that real Roman feel to the Empire. A rather nice little detail is that the color changes on your wrist. Armor plate? Depending on which color you choose, which is a rather nice detail. Overall, Overlord 2 still might have its problem with slight minion AI problems occasionally, but it's still a fun and unique game with lots of dark humor, good gameplay, and the most important piece: evil fun. So what you waiting for? Get out there and squash some gnomes. And the Empire while you're at it.
My hunting scars? Come in, witch boy. I think it's time we got reacquainted.